Alright, yeah, again, very sorry about the delay there, but my dear gentleman friend, meaning my boyfriend, came to visit me today, and if you live in England, then you realize that trains are not always the most reliable way, and he doesn't live here in London, so we had to figure out how to get him home, and that is why I am a little bit late. But it all worked out. He's on his way home. So yeah, I can rest easy once he actually gets there. So, but yes, that is why I am late. But since I am late, let's just go ahead and get started. I cannot believe how far along we are in this game. So I wasn't here last week. I went to a concert. Oh, what concert did you go to? There was a Guns N' Roses concert here yesterday, along with some Pride stuff. I wasn't sure what was going on, but we were in King's Cross yesterday, and we saw a lot of fireworks and a lot of people wearing Guns N' Roses. So, Guns N' Roses shirts, excuse me. All right, let us see what else we can do. Emily is in...
some cool hair.
Emily's visiting our parents in Texas, so that's why she's not here. So I wonder if we'll be able to finish ABC Murders, actually. Okay, good, we already saw this. I mean, just the way, how quickly this game is going.
Now, down to work.
It's amazing.
One of these needs putting in order a little.
Okay. Okay, this looks like a corner piece. Okay, so just like any old puzzle. Oh, okay, so it's breaking it down into sections for us. I see, I see. That's merciful, to say the least. Looks like this. No? Oh, it's expecting us to match it up to the top. I see, okay. Just a classical concert, I'm afraid. Gustav Holst. The planets. Oh, that sounds lovely. An HD Odyssey. Okay, so, is it one of those things where, you know, they had something playing in the background? Is that what you mean?
This does not look too difficult. This page is Child's Play.
I'm so glad that Poirot is...
I think that this is right.
So confident here. Feed my ego, Hercule.
This page is finished. That's done. 3 more to go.
Okay, let's keep going. I think.
This page is finished.
Ugh, this is going
And
so
that's
much
2
better
done.
than Smother.
It's easier than I thought.
Puzzles where you have to be so precise. Oh no, I'm sorry. This isn't the game where you have to be really precise. It was, Swan Song. Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song. Or some of those puzzles you had to be so precise about everything.
This piece should be placed here. This page is finished. Only one more. Keep going.
Awesome. I think the more I'm playing this game, the more I'm appreciating it. I think it would be a good game for like children to play, to get involved in like the detective genre more so, like, you know, better than oh god, LA Noire. If they're too young for that.
It's so simple.
Had a PowerPoint. They had like PowerPoint editing of documentary B footage in the background. Were they trying to be artistic with it?
This page is finished. All the pages are reconstructed.
Okay.
The cloth is now soaked with solvent.
Okay. Oh. Oh, wait.
All the pages are reconstructed.
Yes, I see that, but... No, I need to grab the cloth. Here we go. There we go. Let's say that was the goal.
Got it. Make a note, Hastings. Make a note. Mrs. Alice Asher, shop owner in Andover. Tracheitis, hemoptysis, prescribed laudanum.
I got it. Look.
10 ego points.
Poirot, where on earth did you find these files?
On a fire at the bottom of the garden at campsite.
All right, but where did the person who burned them find them?
So, let's see, I think I saw a movie of the ABC murders a long time ago. I think just the main point is that one of these murders is all of these murders, I should say, are just to cover up
Alice
one.
Asher, shopkeeper in Andover. Tracheitis, hemoptysis, chronic cough with loss of blood. Prescribed laudanum-based cough medicine. Betty Barnard, waitress in Bexhill. Chronic bronchitis, causing dysphonia. Advised to stop smoking.
Yeah, smoking will kill your singing voice.
Alexander Bonaparte Cust. While wounded, mustard gas and head trauma. Pulmonary emphysema. Hemoptysis. Coughing fits with blood. Suffers from absences and amnesia. Dick Dudley Dunbar. Owner of the Black Swan Hotel in Doncaster. Asthmatic. Heart disease, heart condition. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
So I guess it's safe to say we now know the name of the next murder victim if we can get to him ahead of time. Okay, where did these burned documents come from? Yes, the medical records. All the victims suffered from throat afflictions. Mrs. Asher's name, yeah, right there. The documents came from Dr. Clark's patient records. Yeah. I think what the point here... Oh, here we go.
The burned documents are medical records, and without a doubt, they come from Clark's archives. First of all, because all the patients have throat conditions. And secondly, their name starts with either A, B, C, or D, and it is precisely the files that match these letters that have been tampered with.
But why burn these files? How come the names of the two victims appear on them? And who are the two other patients?
These are very good questions.
Okay. But yeah, I think the whole point of this is that the murder, these were trying to cover up Sir Carmichael's murder.
Why are you not answering, Poirot? It's probably for you.
Well, come on, Hastings. I just want to talk to you.
Hello, Poirot.
Any news, Chief Inspector?
You wanted a stocking seller? We have one. Reported by his landlady, who thought he was behaving suspiciously. He has the most unbelievable name.
Alexander Bonaparte cast?
Alexander Bonaparte Cust.
Yes, Alexander Bonaparte Cust. How did you guess? Poirot, you have magical powers. It's a serious lead. I called Doncaster. A person matching Cust's description has been seen at the station. He got off the train from London, but after that, nobody knows where he went.
Yeah, so, he is going to be the Black Swan because that's where, Dudley, or Dick, whatever the D guy is named.
Look for him at the Black Swan Hotel.
Hastings being a little fussy
What?
today. Yes, he is.
How do you know he's there?
Trust me, Chief Inspector.
You appear to be very sure of yourself. Very well. I'll call the Black Swan straight away. The owner is going to get a shock when he learns that there's a murderer under his roof.
Encouraged Jap. Oh, encourage Jap, call instead of Jap. I'm not sure what difference this would make. I guess I'll encourage Jap.
Do your best, Jap.
You can count on me.
Hastings, everything is at stake. With a little luck, our main suspect will soon be under lock and key. So, has Cust been arrested?
Yes, the Doncaster police are sending him by train.
That is good news. But why so gloomy, Chief Inspector?
Well, when I told the hotel owner that he was sheltering a murderer, he collapsed.
He's dead?
No, fortunately, but it has taken its toll on him. It has to be said that with his name starting with the letter D, he had every reason to fear Cust. I bet he was going to be the next victim.
Well... Oh, but in all honesty, it was a good concert. Okay, good. I'm glad. You know, those things can still be really nice, even if the visuals are a little odd and artistic. You know, at least they're trying to bring some classical stuff back. Okay, what do we do? Reassure Jap admit to knowing Donbar's medical records. Okay, let's just admit to it. Okay, I guess we'll admit to it. I wonder if us calling instead of Jap was probably a better option, but...
Chief Inspector, I believe that I share responsibility for this incident.
What do you mean?
I saw Mr. Donbar's medical records. His heart was weak. I should have warned you.
It's very honest of you to tell me that, Poirot.
Oh,
I
okay.
appreciate your gesture.
Please keep me informed of his
Okay,
progress.
good.
You can count on me. I'll do what's needed.
I will visit him at his bedside when the killer is caught.
That's typical of you, Poirot. We should focus on the next part of the investigation in order to avoid other incidents. While we're waiting to question Cust, we could search his room in London.
Where does he live?
The Marbury Guest House?
I'll see you there.
Yes, but start without me. First of all, I have to sort out a few details for Cust's transfer.
I understand. À bientôt.
Okay, good.
Hastings, we are making good progress. Please go and search the room of our #1 suspect.
With pleasure. I did have a dentist appointment, but I'll cancel.
The dentist. So that is why you are so nervous and bad-tempered.
A visit to the dentist is never an enjoyable prospect.
But an unavoidable one. Go to your appointment, Hastings. I will manage on my own.
Okay, good. I don't mind doing some investigative work on my own.
To Marbury Guest House, please.
And I love how they're showing Hastings walking away. I appreciate that, yeah. Okay. Can we talk to you? No, I cannot. Sad-looking guest house.
Marbury. There is a very pretty village by this name in Cheshire.
Well, I mean, it's not a bad-looking place. I mean, once you're on the inside.
It looks like I've found the real master of this house.
I feel like I'm going to appreciate this woman very, very much. That is right.
There is no need to worry about the household cat. I'm sure that Mrs. Marbury lets it do what it pleases.
Ah, yes. Yeah, my cat is my little princess. My boyfriend made a joke. When he first came over and I was talking about my cat, he was like, if she scratches me, I might fight her. I said, you fight her and you're out.
It is a very beautiful piano. Maybe Mrs. Marbury likes to play in her free time.
But no, he was giving her treats and trying very hard to get her to come, like, be friendly with him. And she actually came out and was nice to him, which made me very happy.
How do you do? You must be Mr. Hercule Poirot. Chief Inspector Jupp told me that you might be coming.
She's annoyed at seeing her peel potatoes. No, she's got a guest house. Maybe she's cooking.
Madame, you may be of valuable help to me.
It would be my pleasure to help you. Will there be some journalists there as well?
I think you might even be interviewed. You are key witness.
I've suspected him for some time, but he appeared so harmless. Oh yes, sometimes he got angry and waved his arms about. But even then, he wasn't frightening. And he was as gentle as a lamb again immediately afterwards. It was only this morning that I understood. He told me he was going to Cheltenham, but my daughter saw him at Euston Station. It's not the right station. To get to Cheltenham, you have to take the train from Paddington. And what's more, Mr. Cuss left behind an ABC with Doncaster underlined. As you can imagine, when I saw that, I called Scotland Yard.
Oh, well, how she knew about the ABC? Well, it was in the news, wasn't it? We saw it in, like, the newspapers. Also, I feel like I've heard this... I'm almost positive that with a small game like this, they reuse voice actors and actresses. I just can't remember which character... also voiced which other character this actress voiced, but I'm positive she voiced another character in this game.
Well done. You were right. He did go to Doncaster.
So I was right to warn the police.
Tell me, did you have any other reason to suspect Mr. Cust?
Well, he's odd. Sometimes he coughs really loudly and complains that his throat is burning, and sometimes he talks to himself and stares into space. He told me that it was because of a wound he got in the war. His head hasn't been quite right since, he said. And then he was in Churston when that millionaire got murdered. I found his train ticket when I washed his coat. He didn't want me to wash his shirt. He washed it himself. But I did see big brown stains on it.
She does sound younger than her face looks. Yeah. Ask her if it was blood. Ask where the stains were. Let's ask where they were.
Where were the stains on the shirt?
On the collar and on the buttonholes.
Cut used to travel for his work. Is that correct?
Oh, it wasn't for pleasure. He was always unwell on trains. But he had to sell his stockings around England. I have to respect my engagements, he used to say.
Do you know where Cust was at the time of the murder in Andover and Bexhill? On June the 21st and July the 25th?
No, I don't know. That was a while ago, you know.
But surely you keep a register.
It won't do you much good. Mr. Cuss rents his room for the year. If he goes away for a few days, I have no reason to make a note of it. Ah! I remember one thing. Bexhill's by the sea, right?
Indeed, it is a large seaside resort.
Well, as it happens, at the start of July, Mr. Cast asked me to repair his bathing dress. Suspicious, huh?
Bexel's not the only seaside resort. Well, we can just ask her to continue. I mean, she's been observant so far. Nothing wrong in just letting her keep talking. She might say something useful.
Very interesting. Please continue.
I also forgot to say that he started buying newspapers that talked about the case.
I'll ask for more details about the newspapers. When he started buying newspapers. What other details about the newspapers would we need other when he started buying them?
When did he start buying the newspapers?
Let's see. I think it was just after the millionaire's murder in Chertston. He didn't seem all that interested before that.
That will be all for now. I'm going to take a look at his room.
Take the key on the counter.
Yeah, because why, wouldn't he be interested?
I don't think my register will help you. Mr. Cuss rents his room all year. If he goes away for a few days, I have no reason to make a note of it.
Okay, then. Oh, we can still look at it.
The truth is becoming apparent, and I have something to say to Mrs. Marbury.
Okay. Oh, we did? I didn't even get a chance to read. Oh, but I am going to take a look at that key, though. Okay, grab the key. Grab the key. Grab the key. Grab the key.
I have something to say to Mrs. Marbury.
Alright, now we can observe her. Was odd. I didn't...
This woman appears to be in a good mood.
I thought it was odd that we couldn't observe her before we questioned her. Yes, it is
Mrs.
odd.
Marbury is in a good mood. She's working very precisely in producing incredibly thin peel.
Why is she so happy that she was housing a murderer?
Mrs. Marbury, if I am to believe the register, you rented room 306 to a certain Mr. Fishman on the day of the Bexhill murder. Room 306 is Cust's room. Can you explain yourself?
Yes, I remember. Just for one night as a favour. Mr. Cust was away, all my other rooms were taken, and poor Mr. Fishman had nowhere to go.
The understanding indicate that it is illegal. Maybe the fame will be good for business. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I feel like if I'm understanding, she might say a little more. I don't know. It is kind of illegal, though, because that is his room. You pay for the month, for the year. That is your room. She has no right to actually take it. I'll be understanding, I guess.
It doesn't matter, provided that you remembered to change the sheets.
Oh, do you think so?
I don't know what's in that corner, but... Alright, let's go check out the room. Okay, this is very dingy indeed, but that's okay. I don't think Cust is the actual murderer. Because that's just too convenient.
Trousers, white shirts. Everything has been washed very well.
And if he was the murderer, then he would have been more interested as soon as the case was reported.
The Bexhill Daily Paper, dated from the day of the Bexhill murder.
Where was Cust at the time of the Bexhill murder? Oh, those are swimming shorts. Oh, okay.
Most probably the bathing dress repaired by Mrs. Marbury's expert hands. All the main articles referring to the ABC case are here, from the Chertston murder onwards. Nothing before that date.
Nothing before that date.
ABC guys. Enough to sign about 12 murders. It's closed.
Oh, do I need like a knife or something? Okay, what is this?
Laudanum Cameron's Chemists. Laudanum, a medicine for coughs. It is what Dr. Clark prescribed for Mrs. Asher. This subject will probably be useful to me.
There we go. I was wondering where my mouse went.
Diethyl barbituric acid, Johnson Company. I know this medicine. It is a powerful sedative. This subject will probably be useful to me.
Let's take a look at the typewriter.
It's an ABC.
It's an ABC. Okay, knife. Great, let's grab that.
A long-bladed knife. A murderer's weapon. This subject will probably be useful to me.
Ah, someone got fidgety though. Come on, stop it.
Cast is parsimonious. He keeps his pencils and sharpens them until there is nothing left. It is clear that he did not grow up in luxury.
What is this?
John Milligan, Managing Director, Silky Legs, Frederick Street, Leicester. To A.B. Cust, Marbury's Guest House, 1935, May the 21st. Dear Sir, further to our letters dated 5th and 10th of the month, we confirm we are you as door-to-door salesman, according to the conditions stated in our previous letters. We will send you the articles by mail and also a Redfield typewriter you will be using for every business letter. Regarding the schedule of your rounds, please do as following. June 21, Andover. Arrive by train the 20th in the evening and get a room at Station Hotel. Start your turn in the north part of the town. This letter establishes that Cust went to Andover, but the ink has hidden the destinations of his other trips. I know from Mrs. Marbury that he went to Churston. I just have to show that he went to Bexhill, and I will have proved that he was present at all the crime scenes.
This is all like too convenient, so...
Did Cust drop it when he opened the window? Or was it Mrs. Marbury while she was cleaning?
Alright, let's take a look at the typewriter.
I have to get the ribbon. How am I going to do it?
Alright, let's take a look.
The left-hand heel has been removed.
Okay, well this isn't too bad.
The right-hand heel has been removed.
And there's the ribbon, right? Here we go.
And here is the ribbon. Let us see if it was indeed used to write the letters sent by ABC. I only need the ink ribbon for my inquiry. I will let Jack clean the keyboard if he wishes. All the letters announcing the murders were written on Cust's typewriter.
Amazing, I only had to turn it a little bit to figure that out. Okay, now let's open this box. There we go.
This knife is very useful. Who knows? Maybe it never cut anything other than string. Stockings.
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 Ah, yes, the bed. We didn't check the bed yet.
How awful. This place is a real mess.
I mean, it's not a terrible mess, Poirot. We're ink killers.
At least we can say that Mr. Cust is not very concerned about order and balance.
Oh.
War of 1914-1918. By the King's order, the name of Corporal A.B. Cust, Devonshire Regiment, was published on the London Gazette on May the 10th, 1918, as mentioned in a dispatch for gallant and distinguished service. An army dispatch, wounded on the Somme front, victim of a gas attack, Corporal Cust greatly deserves his distinction.
Okay. Oh, there was something else for me to look at.
ABC guides. Enough to sign about a dozen murders.
Or are these just the stockings and the ABC guide? Yeah, okay. Is that all I can find in this room? No, it isn't. Okay, what's this? Oh, just Poirot's ego points then. But still, good to have those ego points. Okay, I think that's pretty much it.
It is not the right
Not
time.
the right time? Okay. What am I missing then? Oh, sorry, it's called an ink eraser in English. You call it Tintin Killer. I see. Okay, ink murder. Okay, ink eraser. Yeah. Like whiteout or like, you know, one of those erasable you know, you could get pens that could be erased.
The least we can say that Mr. Cust is not very concerned about order and balance.
Okay, we got the sedative, the medicine, the ink ribbon. Okay, we need to find out where he was at the time of the Bexhill murder. Oh! I guess we had to do this manually. Rented by someone else. Aaron Donald. Dating the day of the Bexhill murder. Okay, there we go.
The register shows that Cust did not sleep at the guest house on the day of the murder. Where was he? Bexhill. The Bexhill paper reveals it. Cust bought this newspaper in Bexhill on July the 25th.
I don't know.
It is not the right time.
It's not the right time. Search. Okay, what am I missing in Cust's room? Okay, 4 out of here. The pen where you have the white cap on the other side is blue cap. Did you not have those in school? No, I did not have that. I'm sure other people did, but I didn't. I didn't see them in school either. You either had a pencil or just a permanent ink pen. What am I missing here? Oh, this! What's this?
This dark stain. It could be blood, but goodness knows how long it has been there. No use continuing the inspection of this room. I've seen all there is to see.
Okay, awesome. Let's go talk to Jap then.
Goodbye, Mrs. Marbury. Thank you for your help.
Bye.
Ah, Chief Inspector. I was about to leave.
Good evening, Chief Inspector. Welcome. Please excuse me, I must go to the kitchen. I'll leave the key of Mr. Cust on the counter.
That was just...
I'm sorry I'm late. I've spent ages with the Doncaster police. And you?
I have established one fact. On 3 occasions, Cust was at the scene on the day of the crimes. I had best talk to Jap.
But we can't.
I had
observe
best
him?
talk to Jap.
Just have to talk to him? Okay, that's fine.
I've listened closely to what you have to say, Poirot. For me, there's no doubt Cust is guilty. Do you have any element that might prove the contrary?
That is what we're going to look for. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Was it possible for Cust to have killed the 3 victims? Cust was in Churston. Yes, he was. He was in Bexhill. Okay, that's we're talking about if it's possible right now for him to be here. Anything for him to be in Andover? Cust was in Andover. Yes. Cust was in all the towns. Are there any common points between Cust and the killer? They came from this typewriter. He has a knife. Wait, how do we know what knife was used to stab Sir Carmichael? He has ABC guides on him. Weren't allowed to write tests with pencil from 3rd grade onward. Oh. That seems kind of a lot of pressure, you know? You have to write your answers in pen and just commit to it. He has blood on him, yeah. Guilty. Oh, I don't like this.
The evidence against Cust is overwhelming. His presence at the scenes, the knife, the blood-stained shirt, the ABCs in a box.
C'est vrai. However, the blood Mrs. Marbury saw on Cust's shirt may have been his own. According to his medical records, he suffers from hemoptysis. The murderer cut Sir Carmichael's throat from behind, and the blood spurted outwards. You would expect the murderer's shirt to be stained on the sleeves, not on the buttonholes, yet we see quite the opposite. You would expect the murderer to keep the newspaper articles about his crimes. But Cust's collection starts in Cheston, as if it discovered the case rather late.
I agree it's troubling, but it doesn't change my mind. There's small details that we should be able to clear up by questioning Cust.
When can we talk to him?
Doncaster is sending him to us on the first train.
Are they questioning him already?
He says he can't remember a thing.
It's plausible. Doctors say he suffers from absences and amnesia. Mrs. Marbury has confirmed this.
He may have done the murders in an altered state.
What is at the top of the
A
stairs?
familiar situation.
It's not enough to clear his name. Dr. Thompson insisted that even if you don't know what you're doing, you never commit a murder without wanting to.
Très intéressant. I shall remember that.
Right. I'll go and examine the suspect's room.
Chief Inspector, I took the liberty of removing a few clues to examinatum.
All right, we'll discuss them tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm going to see if you've missed something.
Sorry, I saw this weird light at the top of the stairs and I was wondering, what is that? Oh, there's another cat! Look! There's a cat! Right up there! A gray cat. Also, why did we not see Mrs. Marbury's cat? The big orange cat that she had the picture of? Heaven is at the top of the stairs.
To Scotland Yard, please.
God, look at this man. Let's observe him.
This man is not in good shape.
Look at that comb over at the top of his head.
He is worried and very tired. Andover police have been hard on him.
Andover? Wasn't he in Doncaster? Okay, well, it doesn't matter.
What do you want from me?
Ask if he knows who is speaking to him. Present yourself. Ask who he is. Well, if he collected the newspapers, I'll ask if he knows who Poirot is.
Good day, ABC. Do you know who I am?
Someone who's got it in for me.
I am Hercule Poirot, and I want nothing other than the truth.
Ah, you're the detective.
Let's talk about the letters. Let's not just assume it's him. Let's just talk about them. See if that triggers any memory for him.
Yes, I am the person you have been sending the letters to.
I didn't write these letters. I've already said so.
I'm acknowledging his innocence. I don't feel good. I don't think this is him.
Très bien. You did not hide these letters. But the question remains, who did?
Probably one of my enemies. I have many.
Maybe Mrs. Marbury's cat was on top of the stairs and she shined so bright you couldn't see her. Yes, like the star that she clearly is with her pillow and her self-portrait. Let's say I don't believe he's a murderer. I'm gonna say that.
I do not believe that you are capable of murder, Mr. Cust.
I hope not.
It's just on the fact that he enjoyed the war. I don't think so. A man that comes back this traumatized would not have enjoyed the war. Let's talk about the army.
You suffered during the war.
It's true. I was wounded. I suffered. But the army was the only place I didn't feel inferior. No questions. Just orders to follow.
But ever since you were wounded, you have absences, bouts of amnesia.
And headaches.
Professor Clark treated you.
Yes, a few years ago he really helped me with my burned throat.
So he likes having clear instructions. I think that's what it is. He seems like a very doubtful person, but he likes having the clear instructions. Huh. Accuse him of Dr. Clark's murder. No. Get him to believe he is innocent. I mean, he doesn't know if he is innocent or not, so I'm gonna say try to get him to believe that he is. That might acknowledge, bring something up in his memory.
Of course, you never considered killing a doctor who took such good care of you.
No, never.
Ask him if he acknowledges going to 3 towns. Say that witnesses saw him going to 3 towns. Well, yeah, let's ask him to acknowledge it.
Do you deny being at the scene of the crimes?
So? There was no harm in being there. It was only for my work.
Let's give him, this is the coughing medicine, yeah, because the other one's the sedative. Okay.
Take this. It will help you.
Might have done the murders under some medication.
Thank you. Oh, good God, my shirt is covered in blood again.
Bon. I now know where the bloodstains Mrs. Marbury saw came from. Are you well enough to speak?
Yes, I feel much better.
I don't think he did it. I think he... Following orders. Maybe not the murders, but at least circling the ABC guides. Maybe that's why he circled the ABC guides, so that he would remember where he had to go. But then again, he could always refer back to the letters he received. Ask him if he acknowledges going to the 3 towns.
Do you deny being at the scene of the crimes?
So? There was no harm in being there. It was only for my work.
You were seen at all the crime scenes.
Yes, I was. I travel a lot, but not for pleasure. I am terribly unwell in trains. But I had to respect my engagements. My employer gave me very precise written instructions about the towns I had to visit.
Let's see. The company you claim to work for, Silky Legs, has never heard of you. And as for these letters they sent you, they were written on your own typewriter.
The company sent me the typewriter when I started working for them.
Yes, but the letters were received afterwards.
So it would appear that you typed them before sending them to yourself. Proves that you wrote them. Well, let's do square.
So it would appear that you typed them before sending them to yourself.
I don't remember. Good God! I don't know what's happening to me. My head hurts terribly.
Okay.
Take this. It will help you.
Why does it turn like a pink? It seems like it turns like a shade of pink every time I give him the medicine.
Oh, I think I'll be fine.
Let us see, Cust. Look at me. You know very well that you committed these murders?
Yes, I know.
But I'm not wrong in saying that you do not know why you committed them.
No, I don't.
Let us leave Cust alone. He's at the end of his tether.
I don't think he did it. I really don't.
And? What conclusions have you drawn?
Plenty. It might help us to understand him a little better. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
What do we know about Cust's health? He suffers. Got blood on him. He has a problem with his throat. Cust is mentally and physically weak, not really the profile of our killer. Yeah, because our killer was always calculating and planned things out very well and had a lot of patience. Any clues that do not support Cust's guilt in the Churston murder? Sir Carmichael was attacked from behind. Yeah. So we already talked about that, how the bloodstains don't match. Did not appear to recognize Poirot. Buttonholes. Okay. You'd expect the murderer's shirt to be stained on the sleeves, not the buttonholes, yet we see quite the opposite. Clues that do not support Cust's guilt. Yeah, the newspaper, and he did not recognize Poirot. Can we say without a shadow of a doubt that Cust is guilty? He had no reason, and he did not write the letters.
I don't see any clearer than before. This is worse.
There is one point to highlight. C'est curieux. Cust admits that he killed, but he does not know why. What did Dr. Thompson say? Even if Cust killed while in an altered state, it still must have been his deepest desire. He must have had a motive.
Let's keep it simple. Never mind his motive. He confessed.
But you see, he can confess to anything and everything. He denied the murders and then confessed to them. He confirmed that he never typed the letters. Then, with great ease, I managed to get him say quite the opposite.
Come on, he behaved like a guilty man. He lied to his landlady.
Because deep down he believes himself guilty. From the papers, he noticed that he had always been at the scene of the crimes. He must think that he killed and then simply forgot what he had done.
How can you be so sure?
Let us look at his psychological profile. You will understand my point of view.
Killer strangled people. No, you need strength.
Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Yes, not only did he strangle people, but he also beat Mrs. Anderson over the head. And also, he would have had to have seduced Betty, which, I mean, look at that guy. Do you honestly think... I mean, not to insult him, but, you know. Is Cust clever? The murder carried out to perfection. Okay, yeah. Oh, okay, we're comparing it to the other observations that we made. Okay. It wasn't for pleasure. He was always unwell on trains. We had to sell his stock and to have to respect my engagements. Very hesitant and shy. So harmless. Okay, is he clever? Only place I didn't feel inferior. No questions, just orders to follow. This one. Yeah, he's mediocre. I'm sorry, but yeah. Is Cust sure of himself? No, no, no. There was the one where he was hesitant and shy. Here we go. Yeah. Is Cust a seducer? No, but which one? Oh yeah, he's without any charm, that's right. Does Cust like trains? No. Is Cust impulsive? He's methodical. Ah, yes, this is the one where he's like, yes, sometimes he'd get angry, but then he'd be... Is Cust generous? No.
You see? Cust's character is quite the opposite of the murderer's.
But if he's a madman, can we really talk about his character?
You know very well that our murderer does not behave like a psychopath. Apart from the signature, there is no ritual or repetition in the choice of victims.
Very well, you're right as always. So we have no confession, no culprit, no suspects, nothing. And all that after 2 months of inquiry? What should I do?
Have faith. Just give me 24 hours.
I love how Jap is so easy to roll over. That's mean even for you. You just don't call someone mediocre. Alright, go home. I do like how they, you know, dress up the environment a little bit. You know, even if you can't interact with everything, it's nice. It feels some character.
To White Haven, please.
Cust's arrest is a great success for you, Poirot. It's all clear now, except maybe 1 or 2 details.
Details. Ah, mon ami. The devil is in the detail, as we say.
Excuse me?
Patience, Hastings. Everything will be clear once our guests arrive. Best be prepared. Slip a revolver into your pocket before they do.
A revolver? But Poirot, what are you afraid of?
Trust me. It is important you carry a weapon for this meeting. I will lend you mine.
What about telling me what you have in mind?
Surtout pas. You wouldn't be able to play your role. Wait one moment, I will bring you my weapon.
I've never known Poirot to use a gun.
Churston, Devon, population 500.
I'm sorry, but we're already past Churston. Hastings hunting! Aww.
Hastings' photo album. He is very proud of his bag.
I mean, I'm not saying all about his hunting. I'm just saying, oh, this is Hastings' little, you know, trophy. It's almost like Hastings lives here, but I know he doesn't.
What about telling me what you have in mind?
Surtout pas.
Alright, where's your revolver then, Poirot? Would it be in your desk? Oh. Oh, nothing about the alligator? Okay. I will always love that animation, honestly. But where is your revolver, Poirot?
The white ammunition are blank cartridges. The others are real. The revolver is loaded with real bullets. I still have time to choose blanks.
Let's do blanks. We're not using
The revolver is loaded with blanks. I still have time to choose real bullets.
We're not gonna kill anybody. Nope. Here we go.
What about telling me what you have in mind?
Surtout pas. You wouldn't be able to play your role. Wait one moment, I will bring you my weapon.
Oh wait, do I have to like actually equip the revolver? Oh, so I guess this game has multiple endings.
Voila, I entrust you with my weapon. It has hardly been used, it is almost new.
I guess, yeah, we could either have killed the culprit or shot blanks, I guess.
Chief Inspector, is that you?
Yes. Sorry, but we haven't found anything.
Have you checked the typewriter?
And the packaging, the letter, and the ribbon reel. We've only found prints left by Cust and his landlady.
Well, never mind, I shall make do.
So, are you still going to hold your meeting?
Of course, Chief Inspector. I can hear my guest coming up the stairs.
Why have you brought us here, Mr. Poirot?
Since Cust's arrest, I thought it was all done and dusted. Miss Gray formally identified him, as well as Miss Barnard.
Yes, and the stockings he saw drove the same brand as the ones found at my aunt's.
This is all true. However, a case is not closed if some questions remain open. And one question is, why did the murderer send me his letters? Why did he challenge me, Hercule Poirot?
Perhaps he wanted to play with you, to taunt you.
Xenophobia? Maybe he didn't like you because you're foreign.
I may be wrong, but maybe by provoking you, he was looking for glory?
All these theories should be studied. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Hastings is a man of his time. He very much is, yes. He very much is a man of his time, so no. No, I wouldn't hold that against him. Why did the murderer make a mistake in the address? This is wrong envelope with the wrong address. challenge Poirot because he hasn't. No. Cause the letter to be delivered late. The mistake is intentional. And that is because Sir Carmichael was the original victim or the intended victim all along. Why did the killer send his letters to Hercule Poirot? Poirot's address is not very well known.
Is everything clear now?
You might like to explain your reasoning again.
Of course. First of all, remember that the murderer made it a rule to always post his letter before the murder. He never digressed from that rule. However, in Churston, he encountered a problem. The village has only 500 inhabitants. With advance warning, it would be easy to arrest him. Therefore, the murderer delayed his letters deliberately with the wrong address. The plan wouldn't have worked if he'd sent it to Scotland Yard or the papers because everybody knows their addresses. The mistake would have been corrected and the letter would have been on time. That is why the murderer chose me as the recipient.
Because for his plan to succeed, it was necessary for at least one of the letters to have a wrong address and get lost. It was very cunning.
Absolument. It is a very subtle plan. It matches the profile we have drawn up of him perfectly. That of an intelligent, daring and calculating murderer.
But that's not how you describe Cust.
You are quite right, mademoiselle. Like you, I find it hard to believe that this dull character is the clever murderer we are looking for.
Do madmen... I mean, if he's mad, he might have two very different sides.
No doubt. But the murderer is not mad. All the specialists agree that he does not have the profile of the psychopath.
But if Cust is not guilty, how do you explain his presence at the scene of the crimes?
Mr. Clark, the answer to your question is in the medical records of your brother's patients. Documents which Cust most certainly did not have access to. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Oh, sorry, but look at Betty's ex-boyfriend and sister. I mean, he looks a lot cleaner and they're almost holding hands on the couch. Cust is easily influenced. It's a coincidence that he went to the victims' towns. No. This one. Oh, what do we know about Cust? Cust was in the war and has never been quite the same. Oh, okay. I feel like either one of those could have been the same, but that's alright. Cust is mentally fragile and easy to manipulate. Presence at the crime scenes. There's a door-to-door salesman. Murderer found a way to access. Cust went to Bexhill because he wanted to swim. Tries to. No. It's not a coincidence then. Way to access and tried to burn them in order to hide his tracks. Yeah, they're cute together, I know. At least there's one happy ending. That's something I've noticed about all of Agatha Christie's stories, that there's always that couple that, you know, they get entangled in this case and then they always end up, you know, having a little happy ending. I think it's cute. I guess he's not quite sane in the head. I didn't want to see the crime scenes. Doesn't try to overcome his... Alright, let's just try to do it this way, because... Still a bit uneasy at how quickly they got together after the death of her sister. I know, that's like, unheard of. Like, sure, my sister died, but, yeah, here we go. Cuss was manipulated. That killer made him go to the towns so as to hide his tracks.
Dr. Clark's patients' records provided a very useful list of potential victims, sorted by alphabetical order. The killer definitely used it, explaining the fact that all the victims were former patients of the doctor. It is this fact that clears Cuss once and for all, because he never had access to these records. So how did he happen to be at the scene of the crimes? Either the murderer sent him there, or Cuss was following him closely. Cuss' highly suggestible nature leads us to the second hypothesis. The murderer was manipulating him. He systematically sent Cuss to the towns where he was going to strike, so that the suspicion would land on the poor man's shoulder.
That's evil. What sort of killer could have such a plan? And what would he gain from 3 completely different murders?
Indeed, it seems unlikely that the same murderer committed all the crimes. What should we take from that?
Sorry, my boyfriend just texted me something awful. Okay, just one of the murderers' interest to the killer doesn't kill. Yeah. Just one of the murder is of interest. One murder is of interest to the killer. That's what it is.
Just one murder was of benefit to the murderer. The others were just diversions. On reflection, there is only one conclusion. The murderer killed once out of interest and twice to divert our attention. This reasoning points at 2 potential culprits.
Franklin Clark.
Donald Fraser?
Yes, mademoiselle. That's good thinking. Mr. Fraser may have killed Betty out of jealousy. Mr. Clark may have killed his brother in order to inherit his large fortune. Both have a motive.
But Donald did not have access to Dr. Clark's records.
Please allow me to disagree with you, mademoiselle.
Donald, okay, no he wasn't. He worked for the firm. That's what we saw earlier.
He works for Court and Brunskill, one of whose clients was Sir Carmichael.
It doesn't prove that I went to Comeside.
You could have done it, and you may have used the opportunity to take a look at Sir Carmichael's records.
You think I'm guilty?
You or Mr. Franklin Clark?
That's ridiculous.
Both of you have a motive. The question is, which of you has the profile that most resembles the murderer? Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Is Donald clever? I'd have made Betty a good husband. Yeah. Since I don't have doubts. Yeah, he's a bright young man. Is Donald sure of himself? No, he's not. Is he a seducer? Attentive and generous? Until they were married. Women seem to like him. Okay. Yeah. Does Donald like trains? I'll sleep on the train. I like trains. Is Donald impulsive? Generous? Yeah. Quick-tempered. Yes, he is. Is Donald generous? Yes. Would have made Betty a good husband, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Donald may share many character traits with the murderer, but he does not have his cold indifference. He has a temper. It is hard to imagine him planning anything. Also, jealousy is his motive, and crimes of passion are rarely planned.
Right, I suppose it's my turn to be subjected to the same scrutiny.
Absolument, Mr. Clark. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Is Franklin clever? Yeah. Good student. Yes, he is. Franklin sure of himself. Defending my interests against Wang. Maybe reimbursed. Take Franklin. Sure of himself, yes. Is he a seducer? Yes. Does he like trains? The railway. The Railway Children, excuse me. That's the book. I feel like these puzzles got a lot easier towards the end, which is fine. Is he generous? Yes.
As you have all seen, there is a disturbing similarity between Mr. Clark's profile and that of the killer. In actual fact, it is exactly the same.
Mr. Poirot, your psychological studies are interesting, but your conclusions do not add up. Why would I have wished my brother's death? The inheritance is lawfully mine. I just have to wait.
No, you had to act quickly.
Thor Grey bothered him. Franklin was impatient. You need to get more used to him without it. Well, yeah, because, okay, so we already said that Thora was going to marry Sir Carmichael if they got married. So, yeah, Thora Grey.
Because of Miss Grey. Mademoiselle, although you haven't been telling the truth, there is no doubt in my mind that you would have found a way to marry Sir Carmichael after Lady Clark's death. For you, Mr. Clark, it was a disaster. If Miss Grey had children by your brother, you would not have inherited a thing. You realized the danger after reading several letters from Comside, especially one in which your brother opened his heart to you. So you hurried home from China, and you took action. In truth, Cust was no more than a puppet manipulated by the real culprit. You, Mr. Clark.
Such an imagination, Mr. Poirot. In fact, nobody manipulated Cust. The famous instructions he received by post. He wrote them on the typewriter. We know that for sure.
Oh no, you know perfectly well. That is not true. Eh bien voilà, light has now been shed on the ABC murders.
Your theories are ingenious, but you haven't any proof.
One point to him. For the moment, I have no material proof. Either I admit to it, or I bluff.
Invent an item of proof found in Alice Asher's tobacco shop. Lie about the fingerprints found on Cust's typewriter. Say that proof is going to be easy to find. Ooh, fingerprints could be something, because if he wore gloves... item of proof. Sorry, I'm trying to think which one would be better. No, I'm gonna say the fingerprints.
One thing proves it. The prints you left on Cust's typewriter.
Enough.
Oh, of course you wiped the typewriter before sending it. But not carefully enough. Scotland Yard has found your print along with those of Cust.
I understand why you never wanted to lend me your new typewriter, and why you were searching through your brother's things. And the hole you dug on the moors. What did you hide there? The knife you used to kill your brother?
Game, set, match. You win, Mr. Poirot. But it was worth trying.
There we go. Oh, good.
Don't come near me! I'll never let you take me, Mr. Poirot.
Okay, good. I'm glad about the blanks. Have all the
I'm sorry,
mustache.
Mr. Clark, there is no easy death for you. I expected your reaction, so I used blanks. I'm sorry, mademoiselle, but your second chance has been lost. Franklin Clark will never inherit his brother's fortune.
There you go.
Disappointed at having missed the chance to become Lady Clark, Thora Grey left England. Donald Fraser and Megan Barnard married.
Oh, that's cute.
On Poirot's recommendation, Mary Drower started to work for Lady Clark. The elderly lady's condition suddenly took a turn for the better. And a few months later, to Dr. Logan's great surprise, she was back on her feet again. According to this eminent physician, it appears to be an extremely rare case of spontaneous remission.
Maybe she
Lady Clark has enjoyed very good health ever since. Journal of an Innocent, the incredible story of ABC. As for A.B. Cust, after being advised by Poirot, he made a great deal of money by selling his story to the press. And as for me, and with business booming, the Black Swan has become the #1 tourist attraction in the whole of Yorkshire, even more popular than York Minster.
Well, there you go. Okay, there we go. I think it's clear that, you know, Donald Fraser and that guy shared the same voice actors. That's good. At least waited half a year after Betty's funeral. I hope so too. That would be just rude otherwise. But what did you all think? I mean, like I said earlier in this stream, I think this would be a great game for, like, you know, children to play. Before, you know, getting involved in, like, the Sherlock Holmes detective ones. And then maybe something like L.A. Noire. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe the little details of them having to do step by step that might get a little annoying for them. But no, I liked it. I thought it was a good, relaxing game. You know, I like how it was faithful to Agatha Christie. And yeah, it like showed you like the whole method and order. So yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was a nice, easy game. We'll get back to Ace Attorney next week, and Emily and I already have some plans on what else we could stream once we are done with all of that. But thank you all for joining me today. We will see you next week. I appreciate all of you and all your time, and of course for forgiving me for being a little late to the stream this week. But yeah, thank you all. It was a good game. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, but that's nice. It was nice for us to, like, you know, just relax and solve a few easy puzzles and just chill on a Sunday. But yeah, thank you all. Appreciate you all as always, and I will see you next week. Bye!